Hello students, good time to all. I am Chandan Kumar Pradhan. Welcome to your YouTube channel Chandan Physics. In this video, we are going to discuss Coriolis force and its applications. Let's begin. As we discussed previously, the equation of that of Coriolis force is a fictitious force, or we can say it as a pseudo force, and mathematically it is given by minus 2m omega cross v dash, or expanding this, that is minus 2m omega cross v dash, that acts on the particle only when it is the motion with respect to the rotating frame of reference. As there are two types of forces are derived from that of rotating frame of reference, one is Coriolis force and another one is centrifugal force. This one is the mathematical expression for that of Coriolis forces, that is a type of fictitious force, or we can say it as the pseudo force. But that result of that Coriolis force is vanishes when either v dash is equal to 0 or omega, that is the angular velocity, is equal to 0, then the result of that of Coriolis force is vanishes, or that is equal to 0. The direction of the Coriolis force is always perpendicular to two vectors, that is omega and v dash. It is directed opposite to the direction of omega cross v dash. Omega and v dash are the two vectors. The cross product of the two vector results the direction of that of Coriolis force, that is the resultant of that of Coriolis force is nothing but perpendicular to the plane containing omega vector and v dash vector. Again, we use the vector product formula of that of Coriolis force, that is omega cross v dash. We can say the Coriolis force minus 2m omega v dash sin theta n cap according to vector product rule, where theta be the angle between omega and v dash vector and n cap is the unit vector perpendicular to the plane containing omega and v dash vector. The direction of omega is always along the axis of rotation from that of south to north pole. Considering the earth, this is south pole, yes, this is let it be north pole. According to our direction purpose, we use east and west. So the northern hemisphere, the portions above that of equator is the northern hemisphere, and the portions below that of equator is the southern hemisphere. So the northern hemisphere, if a body moves towards north, in that of northern hemisphere, if a body moves towards north along the positive of y axis, if we consider this one as the coordinate axis, x o x dash, y o y dash, when a body moves along towards north, that is along positive direction of y axis, then the direction of minus omega cross v dash, its direction towards east, according to the rule of vector product, that is the positive direction of x axis using the rule of that of vector product. So the body is deflected towards right, since it is moved towards north, then the resultant towards right, as a result towards east, or the positive direction of x axis. On the other hand, if a body moves towards south along y axis, if a body moves towards south, that is along negative direction of y axis, then the Coriolis force acts towards west along negative x axis. According to the Coriolis force, that is minus omega cross v results towards the negative of that of x axis, that is the resultant direction of that of Coriolis force. Hence, from the above discussion, it is found that a body moving in the northern hemisphere, when a body moving in that of northern hemisphere is deflected towards right, that is the positive direction of x-axis. Also on the basis of that rule of vector product rule, the Coriolis force will deflect the body in the motion towards the left of that of southern hemisphere. When a body moves in the southern hemisphere, also that Coriolis force moves that body towards the negative direction of x-axis, that is the towards left in that of southern hemisphere. The effect of Coriolis force is more noticeable when it is acts horizontally or has a horizontal component. This Coriolis force is more noticeable when that body is moving in a horizontal direction. In that of case, we consider that body, if that body moves in that of towards northern hemisphere, then it deflects towards the right, that is east. When that body moves towards that of southern hemisphere, then that is moves towards the left, that is towards the west, at the negative direction of x-axis. It is because along the vertical direction its effect is minimized by gravity. The magnitude of this force being small, its effect is observable when a body travels large horizontal distances. All these are created due to the acceleration due to gravity is found out in that of earth. This is all about a basic concepts regarding Coriolis force. What is that of Coriolis force and how its direction is possible when a body is moved in that of northern hemisphere or in that of southern hemisphere. These are the possible criteria regarding Coriolis force. Now we discuss various types of applications that are related to Coriolis force. Application of Coriolis force. Application number 1, that is a freely falling bodies deviate from their true vertical path. As we discussed that example of that of Coriolis force, this is nothing, this is very similar to that. Freely falling bodies deviate from their true vertical path. The deviation is always towards east in either of the hemisphere of the earth. We will look at here. Again we consider south, north, east, west. The deviation is always towards east in either of the hemisphere of earth. The vertical fall of the bodies means the velocity along vertical direction. The Coriolis force acts on the bodies in the horizontal direction due to the horizontal component of earth angular velocity and deviates the freely falling bodies from the true vertical direction. When a body is freely deviated or freely falling from that of a true vertical path, it is deviated something either left or right, we can say, according to their hemisphere is concerned, due to the Coriolis force of that of our earth. Again, another types of applications to that of Coriolis force, the direction of trade winds. Direction of trade winds. Trade in the sense it is a commercial purpose. The winds that helps to the ships in that of river. The flow of that of ships depend upon the trade winds. How the Coriolis force affect the trade winds? See, when the earth is heated by when the earth is heated by the sun, the temperature of air above equator will be more than the above pole. Consider that of earth in that of equator. The air on that of equator is much more heated rather than the comparison to that of both hemispheres. So due to the pressure difference, since it is heated, the pressure difference will occur. So due to the pressure difference, the winds starts blowing from the pole towards the equator. But due to rotation of the earth about its axis, the winds experience a Coriolis force. So the winds in the northern hemisphere don't follow north-south direction, but is deflected towards right, that is towards the west in the northern hemisphere. It moves rise to northwest trade winds. Similarly, the winds rushing to the equator from southern hemisphere get deflected towards right, that is towards east moving rise to the southeast trade winds. This is the basic example of the direction of trade winds also depends upon to that of Coriolis force. As we discussed in that of earlier sections of that of how Coriolis force change the direction. That is the basic example how trade winds, direction of trade wind change due to the Coriolis force effect. Again, the formation of cyclones. The Coriolis force plays an important role in the formation of cyclones and its direction of rotation. Whenever a low pressure region is formed in the northern hemisphere, then the air from the surrounding rush towards the region from all directions. The resulting air current called the cyclone. Look here. Is south, that one is north, this is the low pressure area. Due to the Coriolis force, the air will be deflected to the right, which causes an anti-clockwise rotation. There will be anti-clockwise rotation around the low pressure zone. This process continues till the thrust due to the pressure gradient is balanced by that due to the Coriolis force. This will be continued on that of region will be appeared. This process continues till the thrust due to the pressure gradient is balanced by that due to the Coriolis force. This condition, whenever this condition is not appeared, until unless that process is continued. On the other hand, the direction of rotation of cyclone will be clockwise. The low pressure is anti-clockwise, but overall the direction of cyclone is clockwise. This is the direction of cyclone. In the southern hemisphere, the direction of the cyclone is clockwise, whereas in northern hemisphere the direction of the cyclone is anti-clockwise. But as there is no Coriolis force at equator, so there is no cyclones are possible in that of equator. This is the southern hemisphere, let it be the northern hemisphere. There will be no possible of that of Coriolis force in that of equator. That is why there will be no such criteria to form cyclones on that of equator. Only cyclones are possible due to northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere, as there will be existence of Coriolis force occur, and these are the conditions of the criteria. As a result, the cyclones are formed, and this is the technical analysis. What is the direction of that of cyclones? That depends upon either that cyclone is formed in northern hemisphere or that formed in that southern hemisphere, and this is the mechanism how the pressure area created inside that of cyclonic circulations. Last one, that is the erosion of river banks. What is erosion? Erosion in the sense loss of soil. The water of the rivers flowing from north to south or from south to north experience Coriolis force due to the rotation of earth and get deflected towards right, as you discussed. So the right bank of the rivers get eroded, and therefore the stiffer than the left bank. Let this one is a river, these are the banks, that is the right bank, that one is the left bank. Due to the Coriolis force of earth, when that of river flows from that of northern hemisphere, Look here, for a river flowing from northern hemisphere from north to south, the right bank is towards the west, which is subjected to greater erosion. But if the river is flowing from south to north in northern hemisphere, the east bank suffers more erosion. But exactly opposite things takes place in that of southern hemisphere. This is depend upon what exactly that direction of the flow of river, either that is either northern hemisphere or in that of southern hemisphere. Accordingly, the measurement of erosions is taken by using the Coriolis effect of the earth. So, with the help of this video lecture, we understand what is the basic concept of Coriolis force, and mathematically we treat how Coriolis force is executed and some applications of that of Coriolis force. Application 1, freely falling bodies deviate from their true vertical path. Application number 2, direction of trade winds. Application 3, that is the formation of cyclones, and final one, that is erosion of river banks. So, with this useful and informative notes, let me wind up this session. Thank you.